Welcome to The Gist with Mo4567 Field Commander Napoleon is a fantastic solitaire strategy game that got a lot of fanfare when it first came out a couple of years ago. But since then, it's really fallen under the radar, which is a shame because it is really a great game. It's the kind of game that you think is going to be really complicated, really long. You have like a map and your counters and it looks like a real crazy war game, but really it's very simple. You can play a campaign in a couple hours, including setup, teardown. It comes with 11 campaigns over 7 mountain maps. This is just one of the maps that has 2 campaigns in it. You got the 1796 campaign and the 1800 campaign. And as you can see, I have it set up for the 1800 campaign. And each campaign has our own special rules. So the 1796 rules and the 1800 rules, and it tells you where to set up everything and some special things that apply. For example, in this game, Klagenfurt, Mantua, and Genoa do not have a city. So as you can see, Genoa, which is over here, that is not counted as a city. Mantua is not counted as a city. Klagenfurt is not counted as a city. So really, I mean, you could go into this part of the map if you want to, but there's really no point, except maybe to try to regroup or something. So the 1800 map is very constrained to this, whereas the 1796 map goes all over. Now, you have your troops, which are French blue guys. There's Napoleon. He can move around as well. He doesn't actually count as a troop, but he helps a lot when you get to the battles. Then you have your enemies. So every campaign actually has their own set of counters. Here you can see these are the counters for the 1809 campaign, right? And you just baggy them all into the mean. There are also some counters that are in every campaign. For example, these are enemy reinforcements, garrisons, and fortifications. You have your own garrisons and fortifications, which are used in every campaign. And also you have recruits, which are available in every campaign. They're weaker, but they're you can recruit them. Every turn, you are going to do. Let me move the board a little bit. There we go. Every turn, you're going to advance the turn counter. That's a turn counter. You're going to advance it. You're going to do your moves. So you can move your guys one space anywhere, and you can move this guy here, whatever. So you do your moves, and then you would do battles. And battles are really the meat of this game. Excuse me. Like any good campaign game, this is a campaign with a series of battles, and you're going to have to figure out. You could go in strong into one battle, but then is that the best strategic move? You win the battle, not the war. Never truer than in this game. Then you can do a force march. So you spend your supply points. That's your currency in the game, and you take your and then you take and you can move each guy one more time, and you have to spend supply points to do so. Then you resolve any battles that arise out of that, and then you do your resupply step where you get more of these for each city you hold. That's why. That's one of the reasons why Genoa not being a city is important. And you could also like buy reinforcements, like I showed you earlier. Or if your guys die, you can spend. Like let's say this guy was killed, you can spend 6 bottom right supply points to get him back, or 3 supply points to get him back at his lower value. What I really like about this game is the way that it's quite symmetrical. The enemy gets a few bonuses. They are AI. However, most of the time, it's like you feel that you're actually fighting an opponent. As you can see here, your enemy will then move, like you did, resolving any battles that arise out of that, and then they'll resupply. I mean, isn't that exactly what you just did? How the enemy moves, each map will have their order chart. The enemy will spend supply points to try to up the die roll based on how they move. And that's why they start off with so many. Um, they usually start off with more than unit size. It's a lot of times not so much, but that's because they spend supply points like it's candy. Let's let's move on to what a battle looks like, because this is okay, but a battle is really where the fun of the game is. Now let's pretend these guys are going to fight these guys. That will never happen in a real game, because they would have to march here and then over here, and that would take 2 to 3 turns. And in the meantime, this enemy might move. Organizing your troops to attack properly might be difficult. Like, let's say some of these guys might go and attack these guys who are kind of weak, and some of them might go attack those guys. Meanwhile, your guys, your big army up there, they're attacking those guys or whatever, while these guys are running around killing your guys down here. So you got to watch out for that, just like any campaign. The last thing I should mention is that these are called objectives, and when any turn you hold all the objectives, you win. And if you don't get to hold all the objectives before the game ends, you lose. And as you can see over here, it tells you if you get them all by turn 3, which is very difficult, turn 2, and turn 4, which is historical or inferior. And if you don't get it by then, you lose the campaign. Also, if Napoleon is ever with enemy forces, then you lose the campaign, alone with enemy forces. So you got to be careful. So let's start a battle between this guy and this guy. Again, example battle can never happen. So basically, before each battle, you're going to do a fog of war, which is an event and how many turns the battle will be. Development check of one army is much stronger than the other army. It automatically wins. Determine battle plan quantities. Battle plans are like what each unit's going to do. So you get a certain amount of special battle plans. You can buy additional ones. It's like insight counters. Napoleon can have insight. Gives you a nice little benefit. Don't worry about it. Place French forces. Place enemy forces. So let's get to the battle. So here I have set it up. As you can see, here's Napoleon. He is commanding. The number 3 means I get 3 battle plans per turn. If Napoleon was not in this battle, I would get 1. That's in the campaign rules. The enemy gets 2 of their own battle plans. My forces are in column. Column means that basically column is better for moving, but they're more vulnerable, and line is better for attacking. Garrisons are always in line, but everyone else can switch. And also fortifications, like if I had a fortification, he would be in my reserve, and he'd be in line. And if they had a fortification, it would also be. It would be in line. So, the first thing we do is we activate any insights. Now, like I said, I'm not using insights. That's not important, but they're nice to have, but it's not important for this demo. Then we go into battle plans. Here are the battle plans I can choose from. I can choose up to 3 of these and assign 1 and only 1 to each unit. They're pretty straightforward. As you can see, like I said, if it's in line, you don't roll to activate. Whereas this one says if you're in column, no roll to activate. This one allows you to advance and move, like I said, and this one is for attacking. Some of them have, like this one has a advance and attack, so you always have to roll to activate. This one also you have to roll to activate. This one you don't have to roll for infantry. Anyhow, basically, red is basically attack with a certain bonus, sometimes. That one just means attack. Advance means move ahead 1 space. Shock means if a unit moves into a space with an enemy unit, the enemy performs a shock check, meaning basically you charged in there, you had that momentum, and you get a little attack bonus. And the enemy might get injured and even retreat. Now, the way a turn works is you assign your battle plans, then the enemy assigns their battle plans, then they move, and then you move. So you have to kind of predict what the enemy is going to do. You don't know. It's kind of like you and your opponent are secretly choosing your battle plans at the same time. which I like. So like I said, the enemy activates first, but some of these allow you to activate first. So I like this, like square. That's a real formation that infantry use to defend against cavalry, because cavalry is generally stronger than infantry. But a square is a good defense against it. So I like this because it allows you to attack cavalry in range before they attack you. So I like it's thematic. It's nice. Grape shot, only cannons can use it, or fortresses, which have cannons. Flank, you only if the enemy is exactly 2 areas away can you use that. That's what that means. So these are pretty straightforward. So anyhow, I get to assign these to 3 of my guys. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, I have assigned 3 of my things. This one is my cavalry. They're going to charge. These guys are going to. So I'm hoping that by the end of this, it's going to be. There's not going to be anyone there, but there's going to be somebody in there. So he's going to do his flank. And just in case there is someone there, I did a push. So he's going to move. And if there's somebody here, they get a shot, but with -4 to their roll. So now I draw 2 battle plans for the enemy, and then I place it based on rank. So L, as you can see, this guy's L is higher than P. So the L and L over there, they're going to get the battle plans. So let's start with the rearmost. So I reach into my battle plan shake-up. As you can see, the enemy has quite a few. So I reach in, and I draw one. And the first one I draw is forward. So if column, they don't roll to activate, and they advance, then they go into line, but only if they're 1 area away, and then they attack. Now, attacks are only good for 0 to 1, except for cannons. They can fire beyond that. But everyone else can attack 0, which is melee, or 1. So, rearmost L. Now I draw one more randomly. And this one is, this is like an enemy insight. So they get +3 on activation rolls. So that goes there for the remainder of the turn. And then I still have to draw one more. So the last one I drew is called wedge. Column, advance, attack, and then with a +2/+2 bonus. And then if in 0 to 1, they switch to a line formation. So that goes on the L. That goes on him. Okay. So now the enemy advances, starting from the forwardmost towards the rearmost. These are limits. That means 4 mobile, so garrison doesn't count, up to 4. And this one gets up to 6. And the first one to do it is this guy. Because whoever's assigned a battle plan goes first. So wedge. So first we roll to activate. Now, this is your activation number, the top right, and it says 7. Now, they all get +3 on their activation rolls. We're rolling a D10. They all get activation 7, so he's automatically going to win because he has to roll less than or equal to. So he's automatically going to activate. So this says column. He's already in column. Advance. Attack. He can attack. And if it's 0 to 1, go to line. There's nobody in 0 to 1, so he stays in column, which is a nice bit of AI there, right? Like, it makes sense. 0 to 1, you're going to go to line. You're going to be attacking, right? You're not going to be advancing anymore in column. And also, you're more vulnerable in column. So I did that. That goes back in. And the rest of these guys are going to follow one of these enemy default battle plans. So since 2+, they're all in column, so no roll, and then they advance. 1, 2, 3. Garrisons always perform combat. Since there's nobody 0 to 1, it does nothing. And then these guys. So he's in column, no roll, advance, and then attack. But there's nobody to attack, so nothing happens. That battle plan goes away. This guy, advance, and this guy also advance. That's how the enemy activates. I like it. I like it a lot. It's streamlined, it's nice, it moves, and that's it. So that goes away. So now we get to attack however we want. All right, so let's start off with this guy. let's just charge right in there. So only 2 if column no, he's column. So he's going to advance, then advance again and do a shock check at -3 and then attack. So this is how that works. So we don't roll for the activation. This is his combat. He has to roll less than or equal to that to get a hit. So advance and then advance again and do a shock at -3. So we do it by the lowest rank, and I get to choose which one. So let's say this guy, because he has a 3 and a 2 subscript. So we do the shock check. So he has to roll 3 or less to pass the shock check. However, I get a shock at -3, so he actually has to roll less than 0. There's no 0 on the die, so he automatically loses. Now, since he's in column, he actually loses. Like, you don't even need to do the activation, see if it passes. Anyone in column automatically loses a shock. So what a shock means is that they are flipped over to their lesser health side, and then they retreat a step. Except cavalry only gets 1 hit. Infantry has 2 health. Cavalry only has 1 health. So he's actually dead. And then he goes into the enemy reinforcement gun. So my shock check, my shock was good. And then after that, I get to attack. So I still haven't attacked yet. So once again, I can only attack somebody at lower value. Now, melee means +3/+3. So what does that mean? So as you can see, +3/+3, this is a 7, and then a subset of 4 at the bottom right there. So +3/+3 means this would be 10 and 7. What does that mean? If you roll less than a 10, you get 1 hit. If you roll less than a 7, you get 2 hits to dole out. So he is at 6 with a subset of 0, which means he gets a +3/+3 means 9, and then a 3 subset. So if I roll less than equal to or less than a 9, 1 hit. If I roll equal than or less than a 3, I get to dole out 2 hits, which is quite nice. So let's see how that roll goes. Wow, I got 2 hits. Now I can choose to divvy up the 2 hits amongst those guys or give it all to one guy. So I think I'm going to divvy. Now I'll give all the hits to one guy. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't give it to him because he's at a higher rank. So let's get rid of these guys so we can start attacking the higher rank guys. So he goes into the enemy cup. This goes away, and then we keep going. So these guys can do one of the French default battle plans. Let's do march. So cavalry will get to advance and then advance again, but infantry just gets to advance once. Or you know what? They're probably going to advance. Let's stay. Let's do a pivot for these guys. Pivot. Pivot. I mean, they'll get to attack if the enemy comes into here. And they might, because next turn the enemy is going to start attacking my guys. They get their +3/+3, right? Let's do this one. So I can now activate this or ignore it. I think I'm going to ignore it. Just leave him like that. I don't want to move him into there because then he's vulnerable. He might get a shock check if they kill him and then advance in there. Yeah. But cavalry gets to go. So I have to roll an 8 or less to activate this. 2. So I get to activate it. All right, so advance, advance, and then attack. So I have to roll less than a 7 to get 1 hit, less than a 4 to get 2 hits. Huh, a 9. And you thought my die was loaded. All right, so no hits. That sucks. Quite vulnerable. For your turn, you do a route check. So basically you add up all the combat values for both sides, including static. And if one side has greater than or equal to 3 times the amount, right? So this guy is, my guys have 31, and these guys have 6 plus 7 is 13, plus 5 is 18. Already you can see that I don't have more than the combat value, so no road check. But if I did, basically they would all retreat, and I would chase after them, and once they got off the board, they would go into different areas on the campaign map, and I would hold the area. And after that, you advance the battle turn marker, because you only have a limited number of battle turns, and then you do another turn. So let's do one more turn, because now we're in the heat of battle. Let's see what happens. So let's start again. I choose my battle. This is what I decided to do this time. This was actually what I was mentioning earlier. So only infantry can use this square, and then you get to pre-attack cavalry before they do anything. So, I mean, this is the perfect time to use it, right? And he's cavalry, like it ignores rank, so it's fantastic. That guy's still vulnerable, but I'm hoping that these two guys can, if it's 2 away, I get to still use it, assuming they don't kill that guy in advance. But if they do, then I'm out of luck there. But at least this guy will get to activate using column and no roll. So let's see what happens. Now the enemy, they draw their battle plans. So randomly draw something new. Let's mix it around a bit. Okay. And what I draw is rush. If column, no roll. Cavalry will advance and do a shock. Advance, shock, and then we'll do column. So basically, this gets to do shock, a shock -3, which kind of sucks. As usual, I'm doing it on the guy in the back. So this guy's gonna get shocked. Ooh, that sucks. And I'm in column. All right, that sucks, but whatever. And I draw one more. This one's going to go on the cavalry in front, who hopefully I will kill. Aimed. If line, no roll, cavalry will attack. That goes on him. All right, now we resolve. So square is going to roll first. Now, I'm not going to roll because I automatically get 1 hit. +4 +6 is 10. So you might wonder, well, don't you get +3/+3 for being in melee? Yes, but I can only attack cavalry. Cavalry only gets 1 hit. So that other hit is going to go to waste. There's no point in rolling to see if I got a second hit. It's going to go to waste. So basically, he's dead because I got 6 +4 +3 for being in melee, 13. You can't roll higher than a 13 with a D10. So he goes in their enemy reinforcement cup. That goes back in the battle plan draw cup. All right, now this guy, and that's done. Now this guy gets to activate. So he's in 0 to 1. He's going to do combat. So he goes into line, and then he attacks. He gets 2 +3 +3. So he has to roll a 5 or a 3 to get 2 hits on me, or less. Do the roll. Ouch. Oh, my guy's dead. So now I take this guy, who just suffered 2 hits, right? And I put him up here with the reinforcements. So now the enemy activates again. So that guy already went, so now this guy goes because whoever's assigned to battle line gets to go. So cavalry will get to advance 1, but he's not cavalry, so he only advances once. Shock. And then ends up in column. And that's the end for him. That goes back in the battle plan counter. And then these guys will move. So advance, because at 2+. And this guy will advance because he's at 2+. This guy always performs a combat, but no one's at 0 to 1. And then my guys get to go. And I get to activate them in whatever order I like. So, cavalry will go first. They're going to do a fire. So if line, no roll. So we have to roll for activation. He has to roll an 8 or less to activate. So he rolled a 2, so he gets to activate. Then he rolls a 7 or a 4 to attack. So less than a 7 for 1 hit, less than a 4 for 2 hits. Let's go. What does he get? Nothing. So fortunately, he fired and he missed. All right, this guy's just going to advance in line. I have to roll because he's in line to activate him. Do our roll. 2. So he gets to move. We move him up 1, and this guy goes. So he's in column, so no roll. But you know what? Let's activate him first. So flank, he actually gets to activate because he's 2 away. We have to roll to activate him. Once again, 8. Then advance shock -3, and attack. So let's see what happens. Come on. 8. Ooh. That is just what we needed to activate him. Very nice. I'm very happy with that. So, advance. And then advance with a shock -3. Now, units in column automatically fail shock. So let's, which one? We got our cavalry here. We have this guy, and this guy are exactly the same, but this guy automatically fails. This guy we'd have to roll. Actually, with the -3, he would fail as it is. So it doesn't really matter. Let's take out the guy in, and this guy is too high of a rank. So let's take him out and knock him back 1. Because the shock means to take a hit and they get knocked back 1. All right, yeah, I like that. And then he gets to attack. So he has to attack a guy in melee. +3/+3. So let's see what he have to roll. A 3 or less to get 2 hits. Or a 9 to get 1 hit. What do I get? Ooh, a 1. 2 hits. Oh, baby. So, with my 2 hits, I've decided I'm going to kill this guy for 1 hit. And then this guy is going to get damaged for my 2nd hit. And then finally, this guy gets to go. So, he's in column, so no roll. Advance, go into line, and then perform an attack with +1/+1. I need to roll a 7 for 1 hit or a 1 for 2 hits. So come on, don't fail me now. All right, 1 hit, not bad. So that was the 1 hit he did. And I have to take this guy out because he's a high rank. So now he goes away. So that's the end of a 2nd round. And now what we do is we do the route check. So they have 6 + 5 is 11, +1 is 12. So 12 times 3 is 36. I do not have more than 36. I have 6, 12, 19, 25. So nobody routes. And then we would do another turn. And then we would go back to the battle map. So as you can see, even if you're successful in a battle, it really whittles down your forces for future battles. So you really have to be careful. The supply map, the campaign map over here, as you can see, it's, you really have to focus where you're going to fight. I have this token to show where the battle took place to help you remember. But you really have to be careful. Some battles, they might end in a draw, and you both sit there. Sometimes, if the turns run out, it's just down to a die roll which side retreats out of the space. But I like the fact that if you're so much stronger, then you just automatically win. Like, that's just a beautiful piece of design. It keeps the theme going that if you have like 6 guys and he has 1, it's not down to the roll of a die that you're knocked out by your by the one Rambo in there. Like that doesn't happen in this game. I like the recruits. I like that enemies will recruit, right? For each enemy held city, you roll a die, and then they get fortification, garrison, a reinforcement, which means a random draw out of this cup. This campaign starts off with these recruits here. Most maps will not have like recruits like this on the map. I love the fortifications and garrisons. I love it. It's such a nice bit of theme. Like those fortifications, if they were in the map, every turn from the beginning, they would be hammering my guys. But again, I have fortifications too. And as part of your reinforcements, you can build more, fortifications, they count for your resupply step over there. So it's a really good campaign. And as you can see, like the battles are, there's a lot of decision making there. You have to predict what the enemy's going to do. Your die rolls are, you can mitigate that luck with your bonuses based off your battle plan. There are some insights you can do. So this is one insight that Napoleon gives you: adjust the duration of the battle by 1 turn. So if you know you're going to lose, you can make it 1 less turn. So hope the battle loses earlier and your guys don't get massacred. This one front, let's say they have fortification, you take this insight and you can start on the French front and try to take out their cannons as quickly as possible. This one, well, lets you steal supply points from the enemy. You roll a die and that tells you how many. So, and this one's great. So what that +0 means is at the beginning of each battle turn, you add that number to Napoleon's battle rating. In this campaign, it's 3. And if you roll that or less, you get to inflict 1 hit on each garrison and fortification, which can be huge because they fire every turn. So you get your insights, you get battle plans, you can spend your supply points over here to get battle plans. As you can see, each turn you get quite a few. You get 3 supply points. I would get, let's say let's say I took over this. I would get 3, because you get 3 automatically, then 6, and then 9 at the end of this turn. At the end of my turn, I would have 11 supply points to spend to get reinforcements and stuff. And then there are 11 of these campaigns, and they're fun. They're fun. There's decisions, there's choices, there's it matters, and the game ends pretty quickly. You move, you battle, you reinforce. Yeah, the enemy moves, battles, reinforces, and then next turn. Goes fast. The enemy, I like the way they move around the campaign map because you divide them up, right? If you have a big group of them, let's say like here, it tells you, let's say you had all these, right? So it tells you divide them up into groups of 3 randomly. So you randomly would separate them. Then you would roll. They would spend supply points to up the roll. And then they would move. They might move 2 towards you. Of course, they have to stop if they go into a space where you are. So if these guys moved over here, they would have to stop. That tells you, you move to a French-held objective like this or this. You could move to an enemy-held objective, so they would retreat in a sense. The hold, or a random one, so you would roll a die and they would go into any one of those. Or advance to the nearest and weakest French force. That's a rule. I hope this gave a good overview of, it's kind of long, unfortunately, but it's probably my longest video to date, but I feel this game deserves a lot more love than it's been getting lately. It's got a lot of decision making. It comes with 7 mountain maps in this huge box. Look at this. These are all the maps. Look at that. These are all different campaigns that you get to choose. I love the battle plan shit draw. I love the symmetry of that. Again, there's a reinforcement cup. There's, you know, you get your reinforcements plus your garrisons and fortifications. You can reinforce each turn. The enemy has a ton of these guys, these garrisons and fortifications. Oh, and you also get scouts, which allow you to reroll. But it's a simple game. It doesn't take up a lot of table space. You know, this is my hand. I don't have particularly huge hands. Let's give a nice view of the entire table space. That's all. That's all it is. Not a lot. Fairly simple, straightforward. All the rules are on this player aid I printed out. It's called Flatten the Learning Curve Reformatted. These are all the rules. Pretty much tells you everything. It tells you how to do shocks from higher, lower. I mean, everything is there. So, oh, one last thing I should mention. One last thing, and then I will end this. Is that Dan Verson is a gem of a human being. My copy came in. I live in Canada. My copy came in. The one I bought from my store, I had a bit of mold, some counters were peeling. He sent me a new box, a whole bunch of new counter sheets, like ridiculous amount of things, almost like a new full game, like tons of things. It cost him $25 to ship it to me, plus whatever the component cost is, which is over a third of what I spent on this game. Sent it to me for free. I sent him pictures and stuff, sent it to me for free. What an amazing individual. Like, not only does he make great games, and not only does his love of games show, but he backs it up with customer support. I mean, he's like, I love the game. I want you to love the game. It's going to cost me, but that's more important to me than you know, the bottom line. What a gem of a human being. There should be more people like him. For that reason alone, you should buy this game. But I think once you buy it, you'll see that it actually was a worthy purchase. Excellent game. I hope that helps.